other panelists to join us. Brother Robert Hicks, he should be joining us shortly. Tiffany Hilliard, I'm sure she'll be on. And Sister Tanisha Holmes. She's on a project, but she's going to uh, give us a cameo shortly. There's Brother Hicks. Brother Hicks, good evening, sir.
Good evening. How's everyone doing today?
Greetings, brother. Outstanding,
Doing well,
outstanding.
doing
Turn up
well.
mic one. Yeah, turn that up just a little bit more. Mic one. Yes. Thank you for that. Okay, appreciate it. Oh man. Brother Clayton Brown.
Yes, yes.
How are you, man?
Greetings, my brother.
Okay, you can turn up mic four too. Turn up mic four.
All right.
Mic four. All right. Yes.
Yes, yes.
That's better. That's better. Okay, Craig Hunter.
Doing well.
All right, very good. And let's introduce our esteemed guest here. It's Dr. Robert Daylin Brown. My brother, how are you?
It is very, very good to see you again. All you brothers look fantastic on this StreamYard right now. You all are doing your thing on Studio W.
Man, appreciate that, man. Hey, look here. We've been doing this thing, I think.
Can y'all hear me okay?
Oh, there's
Yes.
Tanisha.
Yes.
Sister Tanisha, how are you, dear?
I am doing good. How you guys doing?
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you. Hey, introduce yourself to our brother Robert Dylan Brown. He's our special guest here tonight.
Okay, my name is Tanisha Holmes. I want to say hola to you. I'm actually in Raleigh, North Carolina with the Central Carolina Grad Chapter. And welcome. That's what I want to say to you. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hey, I appreciate that, sister. Welcome. Good to see you.
Yes, yes. And Sister Tiffany Hilliard, she should be joining us. Let's see, Latoya, Cisco, Miss Fancy. She's out on assignment, and she'll be joining us. Sometimes, probably in the next few weeks or so. I know she has some things that she has to take care of, but that's okay. So let's talk about this brother. I happen to have met and know this brother personally. As a matter of fact, I was part of the Los Angeles grad chapter, and you were regional director at that time, weren't you, brother?
Yes, yeah. I was regional director at that time for the Far West region. I think after you left, I joined the executive board, and now
Wow.
I'm back to regional director right now.
Outstanding, outstanding. And Robert, let me just share a little bit before we get into his resume, his extensive resume. Robert also was the host of Groove Talk Radio, and that was so much fun. You, T.L. Van Meter, Jamal. Let's see, I'm missing someone else. Mark, was Mark part of that as well?
I think he came along a little bit later.
A little bit later, but there's also somebody else that I missed. John. I know. Well, John was the president, obviously. Oh,
Right.
there's Tiffany. Okay.
Hello, Tiff.
Hey, Tiffany.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey,
How
Tiff.
are you? All right. Hey, meet our special guest here. That's Robert Dylan Brown. He is our featured guest tonight, and we're going to talk to him and talk to him a little bit about his book and also his educational background and experience. All right. So let me see. Let's get to this right now. Education, ED in educational leadership. Went to Azusa, graduated from Azusa Pacific University, December 2011. Concentration, teaching and learning, dissertation, essential program components of teaching and learning centers, TLC, in community colleges as perceived by TLC directors, MA in education, Pepperdine University. I love that university. May 1998, BA in English, minor mathematics, University of Redlands in Redlands, California. Currently enrolled in a Master's of Marriage and Family Therapy program, Pacific Oaks College. Anticipated graduation May 2026. Let's talk about some of this brother's current and appointments. Okay, current and awards and current appointments. Author of the book Joker to King. As a matter of fact, I had a copy of that, Robert. I'm going to talk to you about that as well. Your Comprehensive Guide to Manhood 2023. The first edition of the book was the 2016 winner of the Southern California Book Festival Grand Prize. Congratulations, my brother. Current Far West Regional Director of Groove Associate Fellowship Incorporated. Currently in training at Pacific Oaks College to become a therapist and clinical counselor. Graduation in May 2026. Various workshops are presented at local, statewide, and national conferences, including CTA, Equity and Human Rights Conference, men annual conference, African American Male Education and Network and Development. That was a mouthful. Wow. And also, welcome to the set. You know this gentleman right here, Mark.
Yes, sir.
Oh
Yes,
my
sir.
Hey,
goodness,
our esteemed brother, man. He's with us, man.
Yeah.
TMI. How you doing,
Yes,
Mark?
sir. I'm doing great. I'm actually at work. I had some weather issues out here a week ago, and so I've had to been working really hard. But I wanted to get on here because it is a honor. It is a blessing. I have my DP on here tonight. He doesn't know how, and I don't say this often about too many, but he doesn't know how much I admire what he's done. Just how great of a man that he is. I mean, it was such a blessing to be guided into groove under this man. He is a phenomenal man, and I love him to death. That's my brother. He's been there with me through great times, through bad times, and I had to at least come on here to acknowledge him because it's an honor tonight, just to be in his presence.
Yes,
Hey,
yes.
Mark, you're making me blush over here, man.
I had to sneak on here. Yeah, I'm serious. I had to sneak on in the office. We had a very bad storm here Thursday, and some people are still without power.
Wow.
And it's been since Thursday. So yeah, I'm here at work, and I had to go to another office, but I wanted to sneak in here. I had to most definitely acknowledge you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Hey, I appreciate it. I miss you, Mark. I got a lot of love for you, man.
Yes, sir. We'll definitely talk.
Yeah, and we're gonna go around the panel because I'm sure you guys have tons of questions to ask Brother Brown here. Because part of the Groove Swing Speaks whole network and what we try to put out, Rob, is that we want to provide education and educational resources. We also want to uplift and inspire young men and women to get the best path for them in their lives going forward and how to prepare for it. And that's why I'm so impressed with your book. We'll get into that in a second. Joker the King. Joker the King. And you, as a matter of fact, you told us a bit about that when we were doing Groove Talk Radio. But I want to get into your educational background. And it seems like that you just have a love for learning. Uh, who instilled that in you to, I mean, a lot of guys, young men and women, doesn't matter who you are, they don't like picking up a book. But it seems like to me, you were in school, you're teaching now, and also you're still in a program to graduate in 2026. Who inspired you to learn as much as you can and go forward with your learning career?
Well, I tell people, I entered a classroom in kindergarten when I was 5 years old, and I never left. You know, I've literally been in school ever since. I've never worked outside of a school. Actually, I'm 51 years old. I'll be 52 this year, and I've never been outside of a school before. That is the place where I feel most at home. You know, to be honest with, not to go too deep, but everything really stems from what happens before a kid turns 5 years old. You know, because if you can get a kid in front of a book and get them the basics before they get into kindergarten, everything just is like a spiral from there. You know, and my mother has stories of me just being in the car, going down the road with her. I'm in the car seat reading the billboard signs. And
Wow.
she said, we got to keep you in the books. And so I give a lot of credit to my mother. You know, she was a single mother who raised me and my brother. You know, about the age of 21, she had 2 kids and no husband and trying to make things work, you know, and
Right.
she did a fantastic job. So I got to give a lot of credit to her.
Absolutely. You know, you said something that's profound that a lot of people really need to pay attention to. Those formative years are before they get before 5.
Oh yeah.
I think the ages 1 through 3 are critical, and this is what we need to do. And don't think that they're too young to learn, because children, they adapt, like he said, like sponges, Craig.
Well, the kids today, these young ones know just as much as I did when I was 5. These 3 year olds.
Yeah, but and the thing about it is making sure you're teaching them the right things, like you said.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and it really is building those foundation, those basics.
Well, not
You know,
cook, but I was cooking.
Somebody got to turn the
but
mic down. I got
This
some.
is
Yeah,
I think that's
hold on one
Mark's.
second.
cross transfusion on Tuesdays, but I'm not going to go to participate. But
Sorry.
Okay, go on.
No, what I was about to say was it really is about building the basics. You know, in our house, when my oldest kid was born in 2004,
Okay.
and one of the things that we did was whenever we had the TV on, we just turned on the captions.
Hmm.
Captions were always a part of the if the TV is on, the captions on. Period. In the discussion, and
Amazing.
it's things like that. You know, he was reading sight words by the age of 2. By the time I think when I was in my doctoral program, it was right before he turned 3,
Okay.
and I started using some of the things in my doctoral program. I was learning everything I could about how the brain works, and I would
Oh,
try some of that stuff out on my kid. You know,
okay. This is
um,
absolutely fascinating.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
go on, Rob.
well, no, I was going to say he learned how to play chess when he was 3.
Wow.
He beat me at Texas Hold'em. We were playing heads up Texas Hold'em. He beat me at age 6 on camera. I got the thing on camera, the video. 4.5 high school GPA, missed the SAT perfect score by one question.
Whoa.
This is the kind of kid that we're dealing with, but a lot of it is really just some of the basics that we did before age 5.
Right.
You know,
Clayton, this is information that parents need to listen to. They really need to pay attention to because they wait to say, okay, my child is going to learn when I put them in school. No, we need to do a better job of teaching them before. Like I had got in an argument with a preacher. As a matter of fact, I got kicked off the deacon board because I told him,
Tell the truth why you got kicked off the deacon board.
yeah, he didn't like it because I said, we need to start nurturing children before they can talk, before they get out of the crib. We need to teach them certain things and stuff like that. He says, no, uh, Brother Brown, I think that you need to let kids be kids. I said, Pastor, I can't agree with that. He said, you've got to agree with me because I'm your pastor. Well, something snapped at me. I said, I don't give a damn who you are. And so I didn't make it to the deacon board. I wasn't even a deacon. I was a candidate. I didn't make it, Clayton. But hey, man.
But actually, I commend you, Dr. Brown, and that's a great name. Because my last name is Brown as well. But
yeah, I know we all family. That's why.
you know,
That's right. Hey, turn the mic forward some more. Turn it up.
okay,
Keep going. All right, now speaking into it, let's see what we have.
that's it.
Hey,
All right. Now, you was talking about when children are starting to learn. It's from day one because they are learning by emulating you, and
Oh yeah.
that's why I always say, be careful what you do around a child because that child is picking it up.
okay.
Yes. Well, actually, I'm going to go a little further and say, the amount of time between a
Yeah.
child is born and a child turns 5 years old, those years right there, the brain learns much more exponentially in those years than from age 5 to adulthood.
I believe that.
Right? Because whenever we think about learning, we keep thinking, geometry and history and World War II and chemistry, but kids' brains are born to learn. They're born, and when you have nothing of real knowledge when you're born, that means you're ready to absorb everything, and so you have motor functions, you have interpersonal communication skills just from listening to your mother talk at you, you know,
Right. Yeah.
physical contact, crawling around on the floor. All these things are parts of learning. You're building neural networks. So if we don't catch a lot of that prime time right before they're 5 years old, then what we're doing is we're leaving the school system to do the
Mhm.
rest.
That is true. Now, tell us a little bit more about the nature versus nurturing, because we're talking about nurturing being that what you teach that child, as opposed to the nature where it's already instilled in them to do certain things.
Right.
Talk us a little bit more about that.
There is a lot of, well, both are very important. Both are very important. You can't have one without the other. I think what the nature part is so much more important in those early years.
Mm.
Very, very important in those early years, because by the time the kids get into school, they're interacting with other people, they're interacting with teachers, other adults, they're seeing messages on TV, and they're absorbing so much from the environment that nurture takes so much more priority. But nature is so much more important from newborn to toddler. You know what? I'm taking a class right now on childhood trauma,
Okay.
and there's a lot of research out there that shows some of the trauma that's still in the body that babies experience before they have memories. Like the
Mhm.
body remembers.
Mhm.
There, for example, you put a newborn baby in a crib in a foster home with 10 kids, and that baby doesn't get touched, picked up, attended to.
Mhm.
That that stuff gets encoded in the brain so much so that by the time the kid is two, they're afraid of their social interaction.
Mhm. Wow.
The person can be an adult now, 25, 30 years old, and don't know where that comes from. It comes from a place that the brain remembers.
True.
That's that's
Uh,
that's encoding. That's a lot of important work we have to do as parents dealing with kids in those first 5 years. You know what I mean?
That is important. And I want to toss it over to Tiffany. Robert, I want to ask you this now. How about while the mother is carrying the baby, let's say some of the habits the mother has, and or say the environment that she is living under. Let's say it is a loving environment. Let's say it's a nurturing environment, and the baby isn't born yet, but
Right.
that family unit is there. Versus, say, another mother going through a traumatic experience. Let's say
mhm.
Yes,
an
yes,
abusive
yes.
husband or abusive relationship. How does that affect the baby before it comes out?
Well,
You know what? 100% yes. People keep thinking, when a mother is pregnant, you got to give the mother the right foods, the right drinks, stay away from alcohol, smoking, all that stuff. No problem. Makes sense. We know that.
Hmm.
You don't want to give a pregnant woman shots of tequila.
Right,
right.
we know that.
right.
But the thing that we got to start spreading the word with is the environment
Yeah.
in which that mother exists is also important. It's also important for that home environment to be stressed. When a woman is more stressed, it pumps more cortisol in the
That's right.
body, and that baby is absorbing all of that.
Oh,
Yeah.
and that's a toxin.
Yeah, when we have everything from fear reactions,
Hmm.
stress reaction, all that stuff is being absorbed by that baby that's not even born yet,
Understood.
right? This is why uh, somebody said this in my class once. Fathers, they're really not important when it comes to pregnancy. Oh, fathers are very important
Hmm.
because, yeah, the father can have a cigarette or a drink, but the father has to make sure that mother
Is
is
that peace?
taken is at peace,
Mm.
because all of that stress, all of that fear, all of that negativity, all of those hormone spikes
Yeah.
sit in that baby's body.
Transferred. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's absolutely incredible. Tiffany,
Yes, sir. Okay. I think this is my first time meeting you. So hello.
Hello. It's very good to meet you. Very good to meet you, sister.
Likewise. Um, okay. So, you have education. Is it like early childhood education that you have?
Actually, my specialty is actually working with college students.
Yeah.
I talk a lot about early childhood education because I think it's the foundation.
Hmm.
it is.
But my specialty is actually working with those late teenagers moving into college, that age group. Um,
Okay.
I'm a college professor now. I've been at the college district where I am now. I've been there for 18 years. And I absolutely love that age group because they're young adults by age, but they're not young adults in maturity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I come in to kind of gear them on the right track, you know.
Wow, wow, wow. I think we need a lot more professors just like you, my brother, because you're not there just to collect a paycheck, obviously, and for your thirst for learning and continuing to learn. It tells me that you are passionate about what you do. I'm gonna toss it over to Brother Hicks.
Yes, definitely. Thank you, and thank you, Dr. Brown, for being here tonight. I'll probably say that one of the things that's seeing within your background is also that you focus on tutoring as well. Um, what made you decide to become a developer with some things when it comes down to tutoring students?
Yeah. You know what? That
As
back
a
when
tutor myself, but we
yeah,
definitely
yeah.
hearing about, yeah, because I definitely love it.
Oh yeah. My heart is in tutoring. Back years ago when I was the coordinator for our college's tutoring center, we used to call the tutoring center the heart of the campus.
Hmm.
Um, our tutoring center was actually, when I worked at Crafton Hills College, the tutoring center was actually in the center of the campus.
Hmm.
But it was the physical heart and it was the academic heart of the campus. That's where all the magic happened. And a lot of the reason is because I, I, not to get too deep, but when you think about teaching and learning, the number one best way to teach somebody is one-on-one.
Yes.
When you're in a classroom with 50 people, you now have this factory model.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like McDonald's, a factory model of hamburgers, or that one hamburger that you make in your own kitchen.
Come on.
The,
You
the
know what I
water
mean?
the watered down model.
So when you're working one-on-one, you're not just teaching the subject, you're looking at that person individually and what that person needs.
Hmm.
How are they receiving the information? What's so special about them? Okay, normally I would be teaching trigonometry this way, but this person needs it this way, you know? And so you adjust. And when I was training the tutors, that's what we would do. You know, the idea would be you're not teaching math, you're not teaching science, you're teaching a human being.
Come on.
And
Wow.
so the idea is to find out what that block is, remove that block, and let the learning just happen by itself. You know, I used to tell my tutors, our job, we have to do our job so well that the students don't need us anymore. We have to work our way out of a job,
That's it.
right? Because one of the things that unfortunately, there are a lot of tutors out there. They'll make a lot of money private tutoring, going to people's house, doing this homework with the kids, right? Doing this homework with the kids, and then the kids go to the school and try and take a test and fail the test,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't know why I could do it with the tutor, but when I'm at the school, I can't pass the test. Well, that's because there's this crutch, there's this dependence that some tutors do, some teachers. You know, they're working with the students so much that the student's not doing the work the teacher is, the tutor is. You know, there's a way in which you talk with people and practice that independent. Okay, good. Now let me see you do the problem. Okay, you got it. Good. Now let me see you do 8 problems. Okay, you good? Okay,
Hmm.
good. Now teach it to me as if I didn't know what to do, you know? And,
Right.
and because a lot of people think if I read the book, if I listen to the lesson, do the homework, that's enough. But the truth of the matter is you have to have the student teach it to somebody else,
Makes sense.
right? You ever hear that phrase, you really don't know what you understand until you try and explain it to somebody else,
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
right? There's a neurological reason why, because when you explain something to somebody else, it forces your brain to do something that it wasn't doing before, right? You have to take something, analyze it, break it down into its component parts, and then reassemble it in somebody else's language.
Hmm.
And that mental gymnastics forces the information further into your memory.
That's true.
So, if my number one recommendation is get students to try and teach the material to somebody else to see if they got it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can do that, if they can do that, if they can teach it to somebody else, that means they got it.
They
That they
got
can
it.
retain it. That's true.
Yeah.
Man, this is so deep. Shucks, man.
Hey, you know what I'm doing. I'm taking all the workshops I've ever done over the last 20 years and giving y'all the bite-sized pieces.
Right.
Well, I love this, and you've got a lot more to talk about. And so I know we only scheduled for an hour this time, but you've got to promise to come back, brother. This is way too deep to
Oh,
do this one time because you're starting from the beginning. Because you mentioned the foundation, and so before the baby is born, I'm going back there. That is so deep that a lot of people don't even recognize not only what we are doing physically to our bodies, the mom and or the dad, but also the environment, the attitude. I mean, the atmosphere that you bring the child up in, Craig. That is so vitally important because uh, the baby is feeling the baby is inside this mother, right?
yes.
And let's say it's gotten to a point that it is a living thing, but it's inside the mother. Well, if the mother feeling something and it's attached to the baby, does it make sense that the baby's going to feel it too,
Oh, of course.
physically and emotionally,
Sure. Sure.
Right.
psychologically? I mean, it
Right.
makes go on, brother.
Including the good stuff, the
The
pleasure,
good
the
stuff.
happiness, the joy, the peace,
That's right.
the dopamine hits from the
That's
good
right.
stuff, you know.
So my advice to you young mothers, I don't have a lot, but laugh as much as you can, smile as much as you can, listen to some great music, and associate and be as much as you can be in a positive environment because that all goes to the well being of your baby. Craig, what do you have to say?
Just I'd say repetition has a part in learning.
Right on.
Yes.
Right
So
on.
you have to keep that individual on focus on the goal of learning,
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yes, yes.
and no matter where they are, sometimes you have to bring assignments. And like you said, when you were tutoring, you and Robert both, you try to put the food down where they can graze and eat. Sometimes if that grass too high, they're not going to get it. But you try to put things in perspective where they can at least reach it
Mhm.
and understand what's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Makes sense to
Yeah,
me.
Yeah, and not only that, giving them the ability to do it for themselves, teach it back. Okay, I what did you learn? Well, I learned ABC. Okay. What did you learn about ABC? Okay. Well, teach me what I taught you, or teach me what you learned. And that's
yeah.
where you can find out. And that is heavy. I've heard that concept before. And obviously, it does work. Also, I can tell you a story. I believe I was in the fifth grade, and I was a good kid. I thought anyway. And but I used to talk a lot, in class. I used to talk a lot. Imagine that. And
And now,
so
and now you're a radio host.
Go
I
figure.
should have done this a long time ago. So anyway, and my good friend was named Debbie. And we were friends. She was a cute little girl, pretty long, black, silky hair, and we used to have a good time in the back. And she told Debbie one time, Debbie, I want you to move yourself up front. I want you to get away from him because he'll never be anything in life. in front of the class. Now, I'm a fifth grader. Can anybody, a teacher tells you that publicly humiliates you like that? How would that make you feel? I mean, it got me to the point that I felt really bad about it. And then Robert, after a while, I started getting angry about it. And then I said, I'm going to show her.
You can tell Will still needs a hug.
I'll never forget it. But the thing about it was, it could have gone the other way.
Oh yeah.
It could have gone the other way because in the same. Now I wasn't a feeling kid. Okay, I used to, like I said, though, my only, if you want to call it a crime, was I used to like to talk. Okay, call it a crime if you want. I don't care. But anyway, I made money talking. So
Hey, you know what? I'm going to tell you. When it comes to teachers, parents, those kind of critical moments stay with you. You know,
they do.
They really do stay with you, and they could be good and bad critical moments. You know,
it could be.
I remember I was in the fourth grade once, and I don't remember a lot about my fourth grade, but I remember this one incident. We had to do our homework. I guess we had spelling words and all that, and I could not find my homework. And everybody's turning in their homework to the teacher, and she's like, "Robert, where's your homework?" I'm like, "I did it. It's here somewhere. Somebody must have taken it. It's here somewhere. I did the homework."
Right.
"Robert, it's okay if you don't have it." And I said, "No, I did this homework. I don't miss homework. I did this homework." I said, "Robert, you can just do it later for less points. If you didn't do it, you didn't do it." I got up out of the seat and I went to the bookcase and I went all to the where the jackets,
right,
backpacks, and I'm tearing up the room. Right. And in my head, I'm like, it's here. I grabbed the dictionary because I was using the dictionary at the time, and I'm flipping through the pages. My homework was stuck in between the pages of that dictionary.
There.
And so I pulled it out, and I went to the teacher. I said, "Mrs. Murata, I told you I did this homework."
Right.
Now, at that point, that teacher could have done all kinds of things. And I swear, I remember this as clear as day. She stopped the class and she said, "You know what? I want to teach all of y'all this new word called perseverance.
Yeah.
Everybody get out your pencils and write this down."
Write it down.
And then they wrote it down. And she said, "Robert, I was wrong." She's saying this in front of the class as the teacher.
Right.
Said, "I was wrong. I thought you didn't do that homework, and you stood on your principles." Or she used the word conviction or something like that. She said, "You knew you did it. You didn't give up. You went and you found it. You persevered, and you got it."
Right.
And she turned that whole thing into this big old teaching moment. I'll never forget that.
You'll never forget it. And guess what? That entire class learned something that day.
Yeah.
Now, whether they adhere to it or not, that's a whole different story. But I guarantee you, and that's such a motivating story. If you did it, and you know you've done it, you stand up, say, "No, this is not going to end this way. Not at all." What would you say some of your greatest achievements in education? Other than the ones I've read so far.
You know what? I'll tell everybody this. The best thing that ever happened in terms of my education was actually getting put on academic probation.
Okay.
In college.
Whoa, okay, explain.
Middle school, high school, I was always an A student. I went to college and my grades started going down. I stopped going to class. I wasn't doing the homework. Depressed, the whole thing. Right around my sophomore year of college, I got the letter from the school. "You are on academic probation. If you can't get your grades up to C level, you got to leave the school." Now, that was one of the best things that happened to me because I had to stop and reevaluate what I was doing.
Right.
I was an engineering major because my mother said engineering is what I needed to do. I didn't like it. I wasn't good at it, I stopped going to the classes. I picked that major because my mother said pick that major.
Okay.
You know, it wasn't for me, and I knew it in the back of my head, but I didn't bring it to the surface. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I just kind of let the whole college life just come down on me. And when I got that letter, I, when I got that letter, it lit that fire. You know, I realized, okay,
Yeah.
I literally had 5 months to get myself up to sea level, or I had to leave the school.
Wow.
So that was the first time in my young adulthood I stopped. I asked myself, what do I want? You know what I mean? What do I want? What am I good at? What do I like? And what am I going to do about it?
Right.
Right? Because think about it. Up until right before I turned 20, I was on autopilot. I was just doing what everybody told me to do.
Right.
Teacher says, do your homework, I do my homework. My mother says, go to bed, I go to bed. I'm doing whatever I got to do because I'm a people pleaser, right?
Right.
For the first time, I had to ask myself when I was 20 years old, what do I want to do?
Mm.
What do I really, really, really want to do? And I completely changed direction right there.
Wow. That's incredible because, again, that could have gone the other way. You could
Yeah.
just say, hey, something else you said too. You picked engineering because your mother, that was your mother's suggestion that you pick engineering.
Yeah. Coming out of
Okay.
high school, I didn't even know what engineering
Right.
was.
And so many students, they go into a major because their parents were, say, their parents was a teacher or the parent was a lawyer or a scientist or whatever it was. And that may not been for or be for that particular child. So that's so important as well as a parent to find out what your child wants. What are you've been knowing them all your life? What are their interests? Okay,
Well,
because that's
hold on. I'm just going to change one word in what you just said.
changing.
The parents have been raising them all their life. They haven't been knowing them all their life. It's a big
Ooh.
difference,
Oh, that's amazing.
right?
Hey, now, Robert, now that is the deepest thing, one of the deepest things you said. Oh, do your parents know you?
It's a, it's a
That's
very,
good. That's good.
I think that, Clayton, I
yeah.
think that's deep.
Yeah, it is.
Do your parents know you? Do you know your child? Or when the child comes home, you give them that third parent, that's their iPad, and let them
Mhm.
go in their room, do the homework with the iPad and a
Yeah.
TV and,
Yeah.
and a phone.
I bet there's a whole bunch of friends on social media that know your kid better than you know your kid.
That's true.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is heavy. That is heavy. I'm going to switch gears right now, and maybe not so much. Let's talk about your book,
Yes.
your award-winning book, Joker to King. Let's
Yes.
say the 2016 winner of the Southern California Book Festival Grand Prize. Yes, sir, brother. Tell us a little bit. As a matter of fact, I had a copy of that book. It got lost in the move. I'm going to need another autographed copy of it, but it was fascinating.
I got you, brother. I
Okay,
got you.
tell us.
But can we start first with the title of the book?
I
How did
said,
you come up with the
did
title?
you hear it? I said Joker to King.
No.
No,
How
no,
did you
no. The meaning behind
come
it.
up with the title?
That's what I'm getting
and-
to. That's what I'm getting to, Craig.
Okay. All right. No, I just wanted to jump in there and say something, but that's good. You good. You good.
No,
Go
no,
ahead.
I tell you what. Why don't you continue?
Hey,
Ask the
Craig,
brother a question.
I love your voice, Craig.
Thank you.
I don't. I don't.
Thank you,
He's
brother.
annoying.
Thank you, brother.
Craig's annoying.
So, how did you come up with the title, and what's the meaning of it? I mean, you're a card player, Joker the King. You know, when I was at Union, we played a lot of cards. Sometimes you had to play cards to eat. So, how did you come up with the title?
I got you. It actually started with my youngest brother. My father has 6 boys. I'm the oldest, and the youngest is 19 years younger. And back in 2012, Christmas 2012, my brother DJ, he called me up and he said, "Can I move in with you? Because I'm about to get kicked out of my place." And I said, "No, we just downsized. I don't have any space." And he's like, "Now this is a kid who, raised in San Bernardino, being around drugs, all that kind of stuff. Dropped out of school, you name it, all kinds of bad stuff around him." And he's like, "I don't have any place to go, and I need to live with you." And I said, "I don't have any space." He says, "My life is falling apart, and I need you to teach me how to be a man." And when you put it like that, nobody ever said that to me before.
Yeah.
And I said, "All right, no problem. Here's what we're going to do. On January 1st, 2013, you're going to move in and you're going to sleep on the couch. But I got 3 rules. Rule number 1 is you got to get back into school. Rule number 2 is you got to get a job. And rule number 3 is you're going to pay me 30% of whatever you make on your job for rent."
That is.
Yeah, you do those 3 things, then you can sleep on my couch. He said, "Oh, yeah, I got you." January 1st, 2013, he moved in. And what I started to do was I started to think, how can I teach him how to be a man? I taught math for 8 years. I taught English. I taught education courses, public speaking. I taught all kinds of things. Is it possible to write curriculum that teaches somebody how to be a man? So I took it from an educator's point of view. What would that homework look like? What would those lessons look like? What does the research say? And so I just started looking at research. What does manhood mean from the psychologist's point of view, sociologists? What is manhood? And I read everything I could. My job was to try and teach my brother how to be a man. And he went to the college where I work, and I would drive him, and we would go on these commutes back and forth to work. He's going to class, I'm going to my office, and we're talking on the commutes back and forth, back and forth. So that was January 2013. 2 months later, his birthday rolls around, and I decide I'm going to give him a gift. And what I did was I gave him a playing card, the Ace of Spades. And I stapled it to his first lesson. It was all about integrity.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave him that, and I said, "This is your very first lesson." Right? I said, there are 52 cards in a deck. There are 52 cards in a deck. There are 52 weeks in a year. Today is your birthday. I'm going to give you a new lesson every week. And if you do these lessons, you're building a card by card. You're building a deck. And if you can make it all the way to the whole deck, I got a gift for you next year on your birthday. And what I did was I gave him so if you look at a deck of cards, you got 4 suits, right? You got the spades, clubs, diamonds, hearts. The hearts represent all the lessons that a person needs to know about relationships, right? Think like how to forgive your parents, how to be the father your kids need, dating, how to master small talk, right? The diamonds represent all the lessons about finances and money and resources, and like how to create a budget, how to start a business, right? The spades represent all of the internal lessons that a person needs to learn, like confidence, emotions, how your emotions work, mental hygiene. The clubs represent all of those external lessons, like how to cook, how to buy a suit, travel, how to be anti-sexist as you walk in the world, right? The relationship between men and violence. And so my plan was to have him go from being a joker to being a king. Right? You move through the deck card by card. This book was supposed to be a gift for him. It was not meant for the public. It was just a gift for him. He's the one that turned the light bulb in my head. He says, you need to get all my friends in the room and tell them all the same stuff. That's when I realized, oh my gosh, I got 52 lessons here. That's 52 chapters. I could just put them together and it's a book. And so I wrote it in book form. I got a professional artist to do the cover. And then it was published Father's Day of 2016. That week, it was the ebook was the most downloaded self-help book on Amazon. It hit number 1. It was the most downloaded self-help book on Kindle Father's Day week 2016.
That's what's up. Congratulations, brother.
And a surprising thing that I didn't expect was it was also the most downloaded gender studies book.
Okay.
Okay.
On Amazon. Usually when we think gender studies, we think about women's studies, we think about LGBTQ studies. Not a lot of books written about men on what manhood looks like. But I hit number 1 in both of those categories. And it lasted just a few days, and then other things come down. But at least for that one time, I could say I was the number 1 downloaded self-help book on Amazon. Then 5 months later, it was grand prize winner, Southern California Book Festival. This book festival was for independent writers, independent authors, the best Southern California independent books that year. And so even though the book was catching a lot of steam, I realized that the people who were buying the books most often were women. They were buying the books for their boyfriends. They were buying the books for their sons. They were buying the books for their nephews and their grandsons, their husbands. Because young men are the actual demographic that buys books the least.
That's correct.
Now tell me something, brother. You represented each category within your spades, diamonds, hearts, and your clubs. Tell me what a joker would be as opposed to an ace of diamond.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's where this second edition the second edition puts a lot of more focus on that because the jokers are important. Remember, there are 2 jokers.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Right? There's the little joker and the big joker.
Yeah.
Right? The little joker represents where you used to be. The little joker represents the you that needs to grow. Right?
Got you.
My brother, like I said, he dropped out of college. The only person I know who got an F in football. Smart guy,
All
but
right.
just did not have his maturity together. He was that little joker.
I see where you're going. Right? Come on.
And he needed these lessons piece by piece by piece. So we talked about the very first lesson, the Ace of Spades, the number 1 lesson in the book, integrity.
Okay.
Making sure that your values line up with your actions. You can't call yourself a responsible person and still be late to work.
Yeah.
Right.
I understand totally.
So we started with integrity. Who do you want to be? What's important to you? And how can you wrap your life around those values? Right. And then we, just kept going, lesson by lesson by lesson by lesson. The big joker like if you read the new edition of the book, you'll see there's a chapter about the big joker. I realized that even though I wrote the book, right around 2018, my life started falling apart. You know, I went through a divorce. I started getting health problems. I After my father passed away, I went through this huge depression and had to go through therapy, right? And then in 2019, I just decided I needed to reset my own life. And I went back to this book and I started doing the lessons myself in 2019 as a 47-year-old.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. And then that's when and so my entire 2019 was a reset, divorce, got custody of my kids, new place to live, new school to work at, lost 25 pounds, got my money right. And then so I wrote that second Joker, the big Joker, to remind everybody that even though you're growing and you have this better sense of manhood, you're still on this journey of learning. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. It's a shame that sometimes you don't have this revelation or knowledge come to you until it's too late. Or well, I wouldn't say too late because if you get it, it's never too late.
That's
But
right.
a lot of the younger people, even older people, they wish they had this in front of them.
Right. Right.
Uh, but you can't erase what you learn through the pains, through the aches, and all that kind of stuff. So it's good that we all have that restart button. You
Yeah.
know, God has given us a second chance each and every day. And so the more this information gets out to people, they can kind of avoid some of them cracks in the road.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hope your book gets out there and they get some understanding of
Yeah.
what everything means, what you're trying to tell them. So hopefully we can post that somehow, how to get your book out there and especially to some of these college campuses and get it on their yards. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly right. Um, Two things. The first thing is just this past Saturday, my brother, who was the focus of this book, was graduated with his master's degree. And
Congrats.
Yeah, congrats.
That is
That
awesome.
a master's degree in data science and business information. And I could not be more proud of this kid. I mean, when you talk about his whole life changing, his entire life changing.
Now, is 30% of that degree yours?
That was the rule. I got to remind him of that. That's a good. That's a very, very good point. The other thing is because I'm an English professor, we get to choose whatever book we want, and so I decided Joker the King is going to be our textbook. And so all the essays and the homework that my English 101 students are doing, they're reading Joker the King.
Okay.
You mentioned English students, but you also have a degree in math. Am I correct?
Well, I have a minor in math. I taught math in the high school and the middle school. I never taught math in the college because I don't have a master's in math.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay.
But I could teach the math in the K-12 without the master's. My master's is in something else, and so I have to teach that at the college. But and my doctorate degree is in education.
I stepped outside the studio because I wanted to hear from another device on the app how this program was sounding, and it sounded great, man. All of you guys are coming through loud and clear. And one thing, hey, the Raleigh graduate chapter, Swing Five Swing. Hey, thank you so much for your support. As a matter of fact, Tiffany is a member of that chapter as well.
Whoop, whoop.
Yep, one of your sisters there. This is absolutely fascinating, Rob. Like I said before, man, we just scratched the surface here because I remember you telling that story about how you came about uh, Joker the King, or how that revelation came through. From you just giving your brother a birthday gift to it turning into something that's absolutely phenomenal. It is a great, great read. It is a good book. It's a great book, and it's something that I think that, and I can understand why women, girlfriends, and wives were buying that book. I need to. have my husband read this book. Because there's so many lessons that can be learned from that,
Right.
and it is all inspiring, my brother. And I'm so proud of you. And so we're going to have to have you back. We've got a few minutes left to go. We promised to keep you only an hour, but I know we could probably go another one. But I'm not. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do it. We're going to have you back, my friend.
I
So,
would love to.
what would you like to share with the audience that we haven't asked?
Um, well, a couple things. Next month on June 23rd, we're doing the first annual Joker the King brunch.
Oh,
The Joker the King men's brunch in Riverside, California. It's going to be a brunch. Everybody who shows up gets a free book,
oh, wow.
workshop, networking. It's going to be held at the Civil Rights Institute
Yeah, that's pretty tight.
in downtown Riverside. And we're hoping to make this an annual thing every June.
Okay.
And I'll put that information out there on the social media pages so everybody can see it. And it's also on the Joker the King website. If anybody wants to see what it's all about, it's on jokertheking.com.
You know, I tell you what. So, send me that information so I can put it out on our other platforms. And while you were speaking, I said, okay, I can have this brother on when the time is available. Have you on some of our other talk shows too. We have the Boomerang Radio Show. I think you remember that. That's on Sundays. We've got the Teens Talk Truth Radio Show that comes on Saturday mornings. Okay. Let's see, what else do we have? We have a few other talk shows and other platforms that we would love to. The information is so invaluable, man. And I was just excited. I was smiling while you're speaking because I've heard this before, but it's inspiring to hear it over again. Craig, you mentioned something about repetition. And a lot of times we need to hear something again to remind ourselves. And you mentioned, Robert, about resetting.
Yeah.
You know, you had to reset yourself. And I understand, brother. I remember some things, and you shared some things with me when I was there in California. So I understand and can relate to everything that you're saying. Uh, Tiffany, Rob, Clayton, Craig, we have a few minutes. What would you like to share or ask Brother Brown?
Well, I really don't have none. I see Robert has actually put his information up, and I'm gonna actually follow that and see. I wish I was on the West Coast. I would love to be participating in that.
In that brunch.
Right. That seems
Well,
like, and I love to eat breakfast food, so that was
Well, I got to thank my wife. My wife is supporting me with all the brunch and the location. I'm going to tell you, I was on the undergrad, the Groove for Our Groove undergrad meeting a couple months ago, and I made this comment to them, and I'm going to make the comment to you all here. If you want me to come out to where you are, it's maybe speak at a college where you are. If y'all can put it up, I will make the flight out there. If y'all can put it together, if you know of a venue, school, organization, nonprofit, university, and I'll find a way out there if you have a speaking engagement for me.
Hey, that's
I
amazing.
think we can make that happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that
Also,
is something that I've been wanting to do at Virginia State is to get a mentorship speaking program together. I've asked a few other
Exactly.
people, and now that you have given me that green light, I'm going to talk to the facilitator at the multi-purpose building and see if we can do something on a massive scale. It's needed. We need to have something like that, and I think we can pull that off maybe in the fall if I get your schedule.
That sounds good. That sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, all you got to do is reach out to me. We'll put it together.
Right.
Thank you.
Yep, I'm gonna share your contact information with Clayton, and with Craig because they're doing a lot of great things here in the Richmond, Virginia area. They're working hard. These guys they're going out. They're going to food pantries. They're going to churches. They're cleaning up streets. There's so many different things that these
Yeah.
brothers are doing on a positive, and I couldn't be prouder of the things that the work that they're doing. It's outstanding. Hey, Tanisha, I know Tanisha, she's working on another project right now, so she's been listening in. Her mic is muted. Tanisha, if you have a minute, is there anything that you'd like to say to Brother Brown? Okay. Tanisha.
I think she's buffering.
Okay. No, she's buffering right now. But anyway, go to www.joker to king.com. That's joker to king.com, just like I said it, joker to king.com. And check out this book. It's a fascinating read, a lot of valuable information, life learned. It's it's a handbook. Okay. If you have young men, I think this is a perfect handbook for you to start teaching this to them, reading it to them, buy it for them. Okay. Uh, Rob, it's been an absolute pleasure again, my friend. I can't thank you enough for coming on. Uh,
I
wow.
appreciate you. I appreciate you. I remember those days in 2016 with Joker the King. Joker the King, the Groove Talk Radio.
Yes. Yes.
I miss those days being on the microphone with you, man.
Man, I miss you guys. They used to come in each and every. I think we started off on a. Listen, did we start on a Saturday or a Tuesday?
It was Tuesdays, right when I think Donald Trump was campaigning, and that kind of set us off right there.
Oh wow, and that was such a pleasure, man. Because I finally, after all those years being in Southern California, I had finally met some grooves, man. And these brothers were absolutely amazing, and I love them all, man. It's great, Rob. Man, I do miss you cats out there, man. So, and you keep up the good work, and you and I will be talking soon because I'd like to have you back on this platform and others, and because we need to really talk about the work that you do. And I think it was fascinating, especially when we start talking about early child development. And I think that we need to pay strict attention to that. Brother Hicks, any final comment? We got a minute.
Yes, I want to basically say that one of the things that Feldman, Dr. Brown has basically found is, and also taught us, is about purpose, what it is and ideas of the purpose in our lives, based upon the 10 of spades. And it basically, in a nutshell, actually he was able to make this also in card form, player card form as well. So
that's incredible.
One of the things that basically 10 of spades says, stop trying to find your purpose. Purpose is not something you find. It is something you create. You do this by aligning your future actions with your core values. So thank you, Doctor, for that.
That is deep.
I want to let everybody know. Robert Hicks is my biggest fan. I got a lot of love for you. I see all the stuff you're posting about Joker the King on the social media. So
absolutely. Hey, Rob, I'm going to need the cards too. I'm going to need the book and the cards, baby.
You know what? I'm going to put it in the mail this weekend.
Okay, I'll send it to you. I'll send you my ad. I don't know if you have my address now, but I'll make sure that you get it. I'll text you that. But hey, man, much love for you, brother, on the West Coast. And if you know, now, Brother Hicks, where are you located? Let Robert know, where are you located?
I'm located in Ellicott City, Maryland, just south of Baltimore.
Okay. And Sister Tiffany, you're in North Carolina, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And the three of us, Craig, my brother Clayton, and yours truly, we're in Richmond, Virginia. So, Rob, the reason why I'm saying that because we're trying to connect the dots around the country to make Groove Swing Speaks. Groove Swing Speaks is a thing. We need to let the world know that we're here because we're here to provide and disseminate great information, uplifting, empowering, and showcasing the positive things in our culture. Okay. Anybody that have anything else to say before we? I hate to close this out, man. This has been so much fun. But Rob, I understand, respect your time, and also I respect the panel's time. Anybody else have anything to say before we do this?
Well, I just want to know what Rob, when were you initiated into Groove for Groove? Mm-hmm. I don't think we covered that.
It was August 2001 here in LA grad. I was the first line to get pledged in Southern California.
Oh, LA grad. Okay.
Yeah.
I think Tito was there at LA grad.
Yeah,
Was
Tito was my ADP.
Okay. All right.
My DP was John Weber. He passed away, but he was from Tuskegee University in the 70s. He was my DP.
All right.
right,
Got it.
right.
Yeah.
And like Robert Hicks just said, search G5G. Let's see, G5G and S5S, S5I, S on IG to find a local chapter near you to learn more about groove and swing, respectively. I'm so proud of the work that you guys do. And so let's help connect this thing, connect the dots around the globe, and let everybody know that groove and swing, we're here. All right. Thank you so much, Rob. We'll talk soon, my brother.
My
All right.
pleasure. My
Thank you,
pleasure.
Rob. Great job, man. Great
Yeah,
job.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Geez, we're going to